Good afternoon, Madam President, and it's great to be here today and to celebrate and see Senator Abrams back in the circle again and hear her laugh, which was wonderful. So, Madam President, I rise in support of the legislation and want to thank Senator Winfield and Representative Staffstrom for their work into bringing it to the floor today. This has been a priority for Senator Looney and myself this session to pass this bill in the Senate and send it down to the House of Representatives, where certainly hope it'll get a favorable vote there and be sent to Governor Lamont for his signature. Madam President, when we think about why we are here today and why this legislation seems important, we have to look at what drives this bill and what motivates this type of legislation here in the state of Connecticut to be put in front of us today. Madam President, when I was thinking about what I would say or how I would kind of frame my arguments today, I was thinking about the fact that when I spoke to folks at various places in Stamford or Norwalk or other parts of the state, and they were looking to organize or fight for better working conditions or raises or better health care or better retirement, there is a sense amongst many employees that their voice, they need to have their voices heard. And I think for us here in the circle, sometimes we may forget that people need collectively, individually their voices may not be very loud, but collectively they grow loud. And collectively they can spark change. And we need to ensure that those voices, the collective voices, are able to come together and speak about the things that are important to them. I would say for us in the circle here, individually anyway, our voices are loud based on the public trust and public positions that we have. If Senator Duff calls somebody, or Senator Smith or Senator Jones or any senator here in the circle or representative downstairs, pretty much we have a pretty strong voice, and those voices are taken seriously. Whether we're right, wrong, or indifferent, we carry a certain weight when we speak. And when we speak to or listen to folks who sometimes work at our hotels, or they work as janitors or housekeepers, or they're looking to improve conditions where they work, their voices don't carry the same weight as ours based on our positions, but they need to be heard just as importantly as our voices do. And many times when they're trying to speak up, they are admonished, intimidated, sometimes fired from the very jobs that they're trying to do and even the conditions that they're trying to improve. We've seen many times where people have worked to organize or improve the working conditions that they have, only to be shot down. And why is that so important these days, in the year 2022, where maybe it wasn't important 40, 50 years ago, but it is especially important today? And I was doing some research, Madam President, and I'm sure this has been said in other times in other debates, but if you look at the fact of where the lowest paid employee to the highest paid employee was back in the 1950s, it was about 20 times difference. And back in 2013, it jumped from 20 times to 204 times from the bottom to the top. And in 2020, the difference was 351 times from the lowest employee pay to the CEO pay. I think we all would agree there's something fundamentally wrong with that. That workers feel like they are being used, they're not being valued, and they don't have a voice to be able to have and earn better working conditions. I mean, everybody wants to be able to go into the boss and say, I'd like a raise, or I'd like better health care, better retirement. But there's not a fair fight anymore. Not especially when the top is taking it all and really literally leaving crumbs for the bottom. That's why we have people who are in constant poverty. They're working 2-3 jobs because they can't afford to put food on the table based on just a job like maybe my parents did and other people's parents or grandparents did as well. So it's just not, this is not a fair fight anymore. And employees don't feel like they are valued at all. And so I think what we've seen over the last year or so is, with the pandemic especially, we've seen the Great Resignation, again, where people don't feel valued in their jobs and they've decided to do something else. But this is a time where we've also seen workers trying to come together and say, we need to do better for ourselves and for our families. And we need to make sure that our collective voices are being heard. And we're going to stand up for what we believe in. And I think that's why we're seeing in some places worker shortages. One of the reasons we're seeing worker shortages is because people have had enough. They don't want to get kicked around anymore working at a hotel or as a cook, when if they can just try and get ahead a little bit, if they can organize for better pay or better health care or better retirement, they'd be a much more productive employee and a happy employee. And if companies can say, okay, the CEOs aren't going to make 351 times as much as the lowest paid employee, we need to have those conversations. And the thing is, it's not like they can just walk into the boss's office. Many times we have now consolidation so much, we live in a global economy, where we have companies that are here in Connecticut, but the corporate headquarters are somewhere around the globe. There's no talking anymore, just knocking on somebody's door and saying, I need a raise for my family so I can put my kid through college. So therefore, we now have this opportunity where we need workers to be able to talk and to be able to organize. And we need to make sure that they have that space to do so. We also need to make sure that if that is happening, we don't have employers who say and offer intimidating type of language, where they may say, well, sorry, your job's going to be in jeopardy, or I don't know if I can give you that raise. We've seen that time and time again. I've heard it. I've seen it. I've talked to the people. And so, again, all we're saying in this is we just want a fair fight. We just want to make sure that if people think that they can collectively bargain or they can organize, we'll give them that opportunity. Let's give an up or down vote on it. But let's not use intimidation as a means to knock a vote down or to destroy a movement. And so, Madam President, I think that what this bill does is it provides workers the voice, it provides them the power. It says to employers, you cannot use tactics to quell their voices. Because I think in America, what has made this country so great, especially post-World War II, has been the fact that workers do have a voice, that we have a great middle class, though it has shrunk over the last few decades. I think everybody, any parent who's out there wants to make sure that their kids have whatever they need, that they have shoes on their feet, food on the table, a roof over their head, and all the opportunities that they may not have had themselves. That's what parents want for their kids. But it gets very difficult when, Madam President, you have this differential between the lowest and the top and no means to be able to correct that, or at least fight for what you believe in. So this bill is a step in that direction, is a step for fairness for both sides, but is a step in the right direction for workers who we value, for our middle class, and for the state of Connecticut. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Senator Duff. Will you remark further? Good afternoon.